Anthony Gordon collapsed on the pitch at NRG Stadium in Houston, and what happened next has split England's World Cup squad down the middle. It wasn't just a player getting sick. It wasn't heat exhaustion. It wasn't a medical emergency handled quietly. This is serious. Nothing like this has ever erupted during England's opening World Cup match, and there's a detail the FA is still scrambling to contain. One of the younger players filmed the entire confrontation in the tunnel, and that footage hasn't surfaced yet. And the worst hasn't even come to light. Over the next few minutes, you'll understand exactly what triggered the physical confrontation between teammates, why Declan Rice and Anthony Gordon went from the same dressing room to the edge of a shoving match, and how this could reshape England's entire tournament strategy before the knockout stages even begin. When a player collapses on the pitch during a World Cup qualifier, it's not just a medical problem. It's a signal. It tells you something is fractured behind the scenes, and when that fracture involves the captain, the manager, and a player fighting for his place in the squad, the stakes shift instantly. Thomas Tuchel has 3 weeks to prepare for England's next qualifier against Malta, and right now, half the squad doesn't know if they're playing together or against each other. The behind the scenes of this is darker than the surface tells you, because this didn't start on the pitch. It started 10 days earlier in training. Here's what happened, and it unfolded in slow motion. During the 67th minute of England's 1-1 draw with Ghana, Anthony Gordon was substituted after a difficult first half. According to sources close to the squad, Gordon had been struggling with the humidity in Houston and the intensity of his limited role in the match. He was desperate to prove himself as England's main left-winger option, but Tuchel's rotation policy had kept him in the second group for 10 days leading up to this game. As Gordon came off the pitch, the heat, the frustration, and whatever was happening inside his body caught up with him all at once. He was sick on the touchline. Nausea, vomit, the works visible to thousands. Within minutes, a heated exchange erupted in the tunnel beneath the stadium. What's being said behind the scenes is that Declan Rice and 2 other senior players entered the medical area where Gordon was being attended to by the medical team. According to eyewitnesses close to the incident, Rice allegedly questioned why Gordon hadn't been given proper hydration support before he was substituted, implying the coaching staff had failed a young player in extreme conditions. One of the unnamed senior figures countered that Gordon's attitude in training had been poor all week, that he needed to earn his minutes like everyone else. Gordon's voice rose. Tino Livramento, waiting nearby for his warm-up slot, witnessed the first shove. A coaching staff member stepped between them. The silence that followed, before Thomas Tuchel himself arrived, was deafening. Nobody spoke for 5 seconds. That's when Livramento's hand reached for his phone. He captured 18 seconds before security noticed. But to understand why this exploded so violently, you need to know what came before. For 10 days, Anthony Gordon had been training with the second group while Bukayo Saka and Marcus Rashford rotated in first-team drills under Tuchel's load management system. This bred resentment, not just in Gordon, but among younger players like Jude Bellingham and Tino Livramento, who interpreted the closed rotation as gatekeeping. 5 days before the Ghana match, there was a training ground exchange between Gordon and Rice that staff overheard. Rice had told Gordon, "You've got to earn it like everyone else." Gordon took it as dismissal, especially given his recent form at Newcastle, more than 10 goals this season. The tension had been simmering all week. On one side, younger players saw a rigid system protecting established names regardless of form. On the other, Rice and the senior contingent believed rotation was essential over a 6-week tournament and that Gordon needed to prove consistency. And in the middle, Jude Bellingham, the youngest serious voice in the squad, coming off a season with 15 goals and 8 assists for Real Madrid, was caught between loyalty to the establishment and defending the younger generation. And hold on, because the most controversial detail I've saved for the end, that video Tino Livramento captured has not been released. But multiple sources suggest it shows Declan Rice's face clearly and captures an audible shout. If that footage leaks, the narrative shifts entirely from Gordon's emotional outburst to the captain's alleged aggression. The reactions have been immediate and divided. Inside the dressing room, younger players have privately expressed support for Gordon, citing his recent club performances and the legitimacy of hydration concerns in American heat conditions. Jude Bellingham has reportedly been vocal behind closed doors, defending Gordon and questioning whether the rotation policy is fair to inform players. But senior figures and their allies have maintained silence in the media, while sources close to Rice suggest he believes Gordon's outburst was the real issue, not the substitution decision. The FA's media team went into damage control, denying any serious incident, while confirming Gordon felt unwell. On social media, fans have split viciously. Some blame Tuchel for mismanaging a player in extreme conditions. Others demand Gordon apologize for disrespecting the captain. The press pack is hunting for that Livramento footage. And Bukayo Saka, who benefits from Gordon's absence and the continued rotation system, has stayed completely silent. A silence that speaks volumes to those reading between the lines. Now, Thomas Tuchel is caught between two impossible decisions. If he disciplines Gordon publicly, a fine, a dropped call-up for Malta, he risks alienating the younger contingent and appearing to punish a player for becoming ill. That's a PR disaster and could trigger a player revolt right when he needs squad unity most. But if he does nothing or defends Gordon, he undermines Declan Rice and the senior hierarchy, signaling that emotional outbursts override structure. And the clock is ticking. The FIFA window for emergency squad replacements closes in 48 hours. Selection for the next qualifier against Malta in 10 days will be watched like a microscope. Whoever plays, Gordon or Saka, sends a message about whose side Tuchel is on. If Gordon is dropped, younger players see him as sacrificed. If Gordon plays, the senior group feels betrayed. The tension doesn't resolve either way. It just calcifies. This moment has fundamentally changed how England enters the 2026 World Cup. You felt it coming, but nobody expected it to explode like this, in Houston, on live television, spilling into a tunnel confrontation. A squad fractured before the real pressure even began. And look, this is far from over. This is the information circulating right now. Over the next few hours, new details will drip out, and they could completely flip this story. Social media will demand answers. The FA will issue statements. That Livramento footage could surface at any moment. Over to you. Did Thomas Tuchel's rotation policy expose a generational divide that could cost England the entire 2026 World Cup? Or did Anthony Gordon's emotional outburst prove he's not ready for tournament pressure when it counts most? Write it down below. And if you don't want to find out about the next bombshell after everyone else, subscribe and turn on notifications right now, because when this fully blows up, you'll want to be the first to know, not the last.